Welcome back to another great episode of Culture Junkies Live. It's your host, Kenshiro, and today we're going to talk about some of our favorite guilty pleasures in genre entertainment, whether it be those bad movies that, people try and make you feel guilty for liking, whether it be, a certain type of anime that you like to watch just because it entertains you and it's fun, but everybody knows it's trash, or it's a video game that, for whatever reason, you just can't get enough of. But first, who's going to be on the show with me today? The lovely Miss Miaoyin. How are you?
Hello, all you happy people. I am doing well, and it's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to everybody. Hump day. The work week is almost over. Isn't that right, Mr. GQ?
Yes, it is. However, I don't know what this guilt thing is that you're talking about, so we have to see.
Oh, come on. You know what the guilt is. Well, no, you don't get guilt tripped. Do you get guilt tripped, LGZ?
Not often. And hello, everyone.
Awesome. So, everybody, we're going to have a great show this week. We hope you all had a fantastic weekend. But nothing like coming and hanging out with some of your favorite best buds, the Culture Junkies, as we talk about all the genre entertainment stuff that you just can't get enough of week in and week out. So, first of all, y'all know what's happening this weekend, right? There's a little movie that's getting ready to come out this Friday. What is it again? The Rock and Roman.
The Rock, Roman, Idris Elba. Jason Statham.
You know how she was like Jason Statham.
Jason is fine too, I'm excited for this film.
Okay.
So excited.
You are excited for this film. I know a lot of people are really excited for this film. Is it warranted to be excited for this film? I mean, it is Fast and Furious.
I mean, there's a lot of great actors in it. Like, how can you not be excited?
Sure, people can find a way. Sure they can. What about you, GQ? Are you excited for this film?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be another interesting action film. So far, The Rock hasn't disappointed in his action forays. Even Skyscraper had its moments. Jason Statham has always been amazing. It's going to be cool to see how Idris Elba plays the villain. He does that every now and again in his films, but I mean, this is going to be his first ridiculously over-the-top villain that he's going to play. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. And then you also have Roman Reigns. I mean, that's going to be interesting just to see because, I mean, obviously this was done during his hiatus from WWE. But I mean, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
I mean, the hiatus. Do we think that the illness that he had just kind of perfectly coincided with, him being able to film this movie? Like, I mean, I'm not saying that actors. What? No, listen. Hear me out. I'm not saying dude was lying about being sick. That's not what I'm saying.
I'm not saying you're saying that.
Okay, I just want to throw that out there because I know some people probably would say that about me. But what I will say is that it might have been a convenient happenstance that allowed him to film this film. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's a stretch.
Okay, maybe it's a stretch. Maybe it is.
People lie every day, B. He might have been.
I know.
Lying about having cancer is a little bit far, even for the WWE. They do crazy stuff, but that's again.
Is it though?
Yeah, because
she gets it. She gets it.
Think about the charity that they deal with every single October. I don't think they're going to play around with make cancer a storyline when it is not something that's real. What's up to Sam and Dana in the chat? And looks like Fallen Marvel is joining the chat as well. So awesome.
Hey Dana, how you doing? Thanks for checking out the show. What's up to our friend Sam chat? You know what, Sam? If we could give out top fan badges, we would give one out because dude, Sam is tunes in almost every week. So him and Tony Young, who happens to be late, this week, but he's usually always checking out the show. He's here. Yes, I didn't see. He is.
He's here.
There he is. I saw it in the chat. There he is. He's there. Okay. I am sorry, Tony. My apologies. So anyway, so why, Mialian, are you very much looking forward to this film? Like, what's got you super excited for it? Other than
one, I was like, okay, The Rock. Okay, so I'm a little interested because it's like a spinoff or whatever. Even though, full disclosure, I have not seen that other Fast and Furious movie. Not ashamed. I'll watch it eventually. But so then they said Idris Elba, and I was just like, okay, yes, I'm going to go see this because Idris Elba. I love me some Idris Elba, and I love him as a villain. He's been a good villain in every villain anytime I've seen him as a villain. And
so wait a minute, including Star Trek Beyond, did you like him as a villain in that?
Yes. Okay. What was wrong with his character there?
I'm not saying anything. I am not saying anything. I'm not saying nothing.
Most folks didn't know that was even him.
That's true. That's true.
Was he really the villain in that movie? Like, this is where I turn into GQ and it's like,
Kenshiro brought up that he was the villain, but I can see he told the line. He was an anti-hero for sure.
Yes.
Why do you see him as an anti-hero?
Because he did some bad things.
Well, no. I mean, again, it sounds like L is trying to put it in the sense of, since he was left behind, his actions were justified. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I agree.
I'm not saying that. I can say that he wasn't. It wasn't so much if he was justified, but he did some bad things. So he was. I can't say that he was a hero.
What did he do that was really bad?
Look, I'm not litigating this right now because I need
Where's my gavel? Where's my gavel? Course of session. Where's my gavel?
He found out that he had an ability on that planet to suck people dry and live longer. I don't see a problem with that. I don't see a problem with that. If I want to live to see Disney take over and buy Sony and buy DC, so I can live to see Avengers versus Justice League, I will suck the life out of whoever I have to keep my life long and prolonged and awesome. So
it's called survival of the fittest.
Exactly.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm not saying I can't do this with y'all right now.
You can. It's just hard to do so because we're right.
And Tony Young, low-key, maybe, yes, I am channeling my inner Rainbow Bright today,
Okay, hold on. What's Sam got against Fast and Furious movies? I'm trying to figure this out.
I want to know that, too. I'm glad you brought that up because, man, look, Fast 5 was dope as hell. And I was excited for the franchise after that movie was over, so...
Well, realistically, he's talking about they should have stopped making those movies since Fast 5. Little do people know, Fast 5 is the reason that you're getting all these movies now. That movie made $500 million.
Yes, it did.
So
when no one expected it. No one expected that.
The Fast movies are a tentpole franchise for Universal. That's what's keeping the doors open. So y'all can be mad about Fast 5 all you want, or Fast and Furious all you want. Those movies make money. Simple as that.
True. So back
to Fast 5. I'm sorry. Which one was Fast 5?
Fast 5 was the first one with the Rock.
Yeah. Well, they went to was it Cuba? I think was it Cuba or is it Colombia? Cuba. Yeah, Cuba. They went to Cuba, and they had to go up against Cuban Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
That dude is so awesome, though. Bucho. Dude is that's my dude right there. But they had to go up against him, and the funny thing is, he really didn't do nothing that. I mean, like, okay, yes, he tried to sort of kind of kill them, but like, not really. It was like, dude, you were heisting my car that had my chip in it or whatever. So it's like, I kind of have justification to come after you. And then they were like, skip that, man. Nah, we're calling in the entire crew. We're going to steal all your money, which was, I mean, again, the movie makes absolutely no sense because it doesn't have to. It's just like, dude, whatever. You're getting all these people. But The Rock was awesome in that movie. Like, he was just hardcore, just chase him down, do whatever it takes. His whole team was just crazy. I was like, okay, this is ridiculous.
Who didn't want to see The Rock versus Vin Diesel at that time? Who didn't want to see that?
I'm sorry.
I didn't.
thought I wanted to see it until I saw it, and I was like, these two are too big to be fighting like that. That was just a mess. I did not enjoy that scene.
I'll admit, the Hobbs Toretto fight wasn't really staged. I'll say.
It was like watching a train wreck that I really looked away from.
But you know what? As annoying as hell as Tyrese always is, him and Luda, their chemistry in that movie, because that was the first time their characters had even gotten together, I think. No, that was Too Fast, Too Furious. That was the first time they got together. But we hadn't seen them since then. So seeing them, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I mean, Tyrese is annoying.
Yeah, he is.
On a different level for me, but I will say I enjoy him in the franchise. I enjoy his character in the franchise. That's it.
Okay. I want to say thanks to Francisco Veras for liking the stream. Hopefully he's over on Facebook and having a really good time and participating in the chats. So, but back to what you were saying about why you were so excited for this series. So Idris Elba, you know.
Yes, I love me some Idris Elba.
You've seen him as a villain in this movie, but it seemed like he's gonna be. I mean, you've seen him as a villain before, but it seems like his most, like you said, his most over the top role that we've seen. So is that what sold you on the movie? What exactly sold you on this movie?
I was like, all right, I'm gonna go watch it because Idris Elba is in it, and you know, I have a thing. I just watch all of his movies. That's just a thing I do.
Okay.
But then when I heard, because I heard first that Roman Reigns was gonna be in that, I was like, ah! So because I love Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, you saw the second trailer. It was like, oh wait, that looks like The Rock's cousin.
No, I actually read that Roman Reigns was going to be in it. I haven't seen, well, I guess I have seen the trailer because I saw it in the theater. But before seeing it in the theater, I hadn't seen the trailer, but I heard he was going to be in it. So I was like, okay, bet. Happening.
Okay.
So,
all right.
That's what I did with it.
All right.
Hold on. Wait. Sam is talking about, let me see.
Mm-hmm.
So he's talking about the fight scene when Vin fought Statham with 2 crowbars and Statham tearing off parts of the car. So you notice in that same movie, he defeated the man by stomping so that the entire parking garage would fall down. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not to be taken seriously in any form anymore. Like, It started off as a street racing movie that's only going to get you so far, and they turned him into the A-Team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is what it is, man.
Yeah,
it's like,
and that's probably that whole aesthetic about it them being like the A-Team, or maybe even like a live action Mask team with the vehicles and everything. You know, that kind of do a bunch of crazy stuff. That was the part that appealed to the inner kid in me. Like I loved that over the top vehicle stuff. That was great, and that's what keeps bringing me back, because I want to see what's the next crazy ass stunt they're gonna do. Like, okay, yeah, parachuting your car out of, a B-52 or something like that. Yeah, okay, that might be stretching it. But having them like drive on the lake, on a frozen lake, being chased down by a submarine that's chasing them under the ice, dude, that was ridiculously crazy. It was so much fun. It was just so much fun.
Exactly. So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing this one on Friday, because it's going to be hilarious just how far they're going to get. And then, Fallen Marvel talking about Cena kills the franchise for the 9th. I don't think so. I don't think so. Adding Cena to the mix is going to be interesting, because now you finally going to have.
I've seen some people actually say
that when I'm not watching it.
Here's the thing, though. Cena could be interesting because, again, The Rock brought an insane amount of life to the franchise. Mm-hmm. So now you're going to get. So now it doesn't matter. Cena and The Rock have chemistry. That's going to be interesting. Yes, it is, because now Cena has stepped completely into The Rock's realm now.
Right.
So it's gonna be fun.
So he's a great value Rock, is what you're saying? No.
Years ago, The Rock came back and wrestled John Cena And when Cena was, supposedly calling him out because he was a part-timer and he left the people and all this other stuff. So now Cena is now truly a full-time actor for the most part. He's not really wrestling like he used to. So now he's jumped into Hollywood like The Rock has. So now they're going to be in a movie together. That's going to be interesting. I don't care what nobody says.
But has he though? I mean, he's D-list maybe at best.
Again, I'm not saying he's a superstar like The Rock. I'm not giving him those props. But Cena has a screen presence, regardless of whether people want to admit it or not. Because you go look at that movie Trainwreck. That dude was awesome in that movie. I don't care what
Wasn't
nobody
that like
says.
straight to DVD though?
No, it went straight to DVD. Wow. So wait, so Cena's been in a total of 3 movies? No, 4 movies now. So it'd be Trainwrecked,
Obviously Bumblebee.
And was that Blockers, aka Cock Blockers?
Yeah.
And now
he was
this.
in, what is it though? Daddy's Home 2. He was in that,
Yeah.
He had a very small part and it was perfect.
Oh, was that Daddy's Home? Which one is that?
Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell?
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't watch that.
Okay.
Like I said, Cena's done movies. Again, he's not like your leading actor type yet. He's not on that level yet. But it's like it's going to still be interesting to have him and The Rock in a movie together.
I think it would have been more interesting to have him and Stone Cold Steve Austin in a movie together.
Stone Cold knows he can't act.
Yeah, they tried with Stone Cold. All his movies are straight to DVD too, but it's still I would have liked that pairing a little bit better. The man can't act though. He just can't.
He was good in what is that film? It was a remake with Adam Sandler and Chris Rock, The Longest Yard. He was good in that. And Kevin Nash was in that too.
Oh, yeah, he was. That's right.
So, we're talking about that wrestling chemistry kind of thing.
Yes, and Goldberg was in it, and that's where they discovered the great Khali as well. I understand what you're saying.
Goldberg was good in it.
Yes, he was in it.
Yeah, he was.
I didn't say he wasn't in it. I said he wasn't good.
I didn't say he was good in it. I just said he was in it.
He was good.
Goldberg is not an actor either.
Goldberg is my dude.
I need to let it be known.
It is what it is.
Right. All right. So
Austin was playing a racist in there, just like Fallen Marvel said. So
yeah, there's that. So the Fast and the Furious franchise, it's Hobbs and Shaw. Do we think we get another movie from? Do we? I know the big thing was Vin Diesel and The Rock, they were feuding and all this other kind of stuff, and all of a sudden they had this split, and now there's 2 separate films in the franchise. Do you think they'll coalesce and come back together, or you think this is like a permanent split type deal?
I don't know. Go ahead.
No, did you have something else to say?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll come in.
So from what I've been reading, and this is rare because usually I'm not with the old reviews and all that kind of stuff and seen a couple of interviews. I think that there will be a spinoff. Maybe a spinoff from the spinoff or maybe a second movie or something. But I don't think that Hobbs and Shaw ends here. And The Rock is executive producer. He's with the money, so if it makes money, if people like it, they're gonna make another one. Period.
Well, everything The Rock touches seems to turn to gold. So
I wouldn't say that, but
okay. I mean, look at his track record. Look at his track record over the last 3-4 films he's been in.
What, you mean last month?
It's only the last 3 or 4. Okay. So that's not everything that he touches turns to gold. That means that he is now starting to get momentum.
Hold on now. The man has been in almost every movie. The man has had a movie that's come out at least every 2 months for the last year.
I'm saying, you can't say everything he touches turn to gold because that ain't true.
I didn't say that.
I know you didn't say that. Cheryl said that.
I'm just get what I'm trying to say. Okay, the man is a definite box office draw. Is what I'm saying. Like films that normally people wouldn't even bother going to see, like Skyscraper, right? It did
Still
decent.
didn't go see that.
I went to see it. I went to see it.
That movie
I went to
was
see
trash.
it.
Hold on.
I didn't watch it.
That movie was
Look,
trash.
Hey, you think
trash.
BVS was great? I didn't say it was the greatest thing. I didn't say it was the greatest movie ever.
Like,
I found it entertaining.
It was trash. It was like, it was gross. It was just
Oh Jesus!
That's not a reason.
That is not a reason at all.
It was just bad. I felt like it was bad acting. It was a badly written movie. Like it was.
You leave them kids alone.
It was across the board trash, I think. But I mean, yes, The Rock was in it, and you know, he's eye candy, and I get it. So I'm sure some people went to go see it, and whatever. But
I don't care about him being no eye candy.
I'm saying
the man played a crippled hero. That was awesome.
And he wasn't shirtless or anything like that. I didn't care nothing about that. I just thought it was a good.
That's like saying, oh, Jason Momoa is going to act in what's the worst movie you've ever seen?
Aquaman.
Okay.
Wow, this guy. This guy.
Wow.
Hey, that was a low hanging curve, and that was easy to hit right there. You put it right there. We're gonna say what's up to Top Notch Grizzly in the house, Big Mike over there.
Big Mike
on the show. Hey Rosie, if you're watching.
Right.
Or you know what, Tropic Thunder. It's like if somebody would say, oh, Jason Momoa is going to be in Tropic Thunder. Tropic Thunder was weird. Like it would be like, oh yeah, people are going to go see because it's Jason Momoa. But if it was the same movie, you're going to be like, what the fuck is this? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Exactly.
First of all, watch the potty mouth.
Sorry.
Secondly, Jason Momoa wasn't old enough to be in Tropic Thunder at the time.
Okay.
First of all, I went to go see Tropic Thunder.
Let's take out the semantics. You know what I'm trying to say.
I understand what you're trying to say, but Jason Momoa would have been overshadowed by Robert Downey Jr.'s performance anyway, because that was the main reason I went to go see that movie. Was like, oh no, wait, what? Robert Downey Jr. gonna play a black man? I gotta wait, what? Then I saw the trailer, heard him talk. I was like, oh my god, I gotta see this.
It was hilarious.
See this. So I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm just saying that if you put him in a crappy movie, people are still going to go see it because it's Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Movie, people are just going to go see. So The Rock.
So you're finally admitting the Momoa picks have their own influence, and that's the reason why Aquaman made $1 billion. Thank you for finally clarifying and admitting.
I mean, I don't know anything, but I mean, you're probably right. But I mean, the same way, if Hobbs Shaw is trash, a lot of people are going to go see it because of Idris Elba. Or The Rock. So I'm saying The Rock and his movies, they're not all great movies. He's eye candy, and people will go see it because he's eye candy, or people will go see it because they have nostalgia for the wrestling, or people will go see it because of whatever they can link to him, whatever.
So it sounds like he's a triple threat in Hollywood then.
Well, I mean, maybe, I guess if that's what you want to call it.
Is a triple threat how?
Right.
Well, she just said eye candy, nostalgia for the wrestling fans, and then other people that just jump in there for whatever. So that's three things.
I'm saying if it's a crappy movie, it doesn't matter if this Hobbs Shaw is like a 1 out of 10, people are still going to go see it because they're going to be like Idris Elba, The Rock, and probably Jason Statham. So they're going to be like, oh my gosh, these guys are in it. I got to go see it.
I mean, it sounds like a good strategy by Universal.
I mean, does it though? I mean, because I guess like you said, Aquaman made $1 billion and you're saying you didn't like it. But I mean, hey, I guess.
Here's the thing that people seem to forget. Not every movie has to be Shakespeare and great and super cinematography. Some movies are just meant to be moneymakers. That's literally what they do. Transformers is a classic example.
Exactly. Like our boy Mike Bison used to say, Martin Scorsese's Transformers. Ain't nobody trying to go see that.
Right. That's the truth. There's certain things that they are put out there to make money, and they are not meant to move you. They are not meant to make you cry. None of that. They are there to just start stacking money. So all these other artsy movies.
That's what they call it, Michael Bay. When they want to make money, they call him Michael Bay.
The man has got a track record, doesn't he?
Unfortunately, I have to say, yeah, that part is true.
Let me put it to you this way.
I mean, so I'm saying, like,
let me put it to you this way: Uwe Boll versus Michael Bay. Which one do you want to go put out there to make you some money?
I'd probably go with Michael Bay, but
There you go.
But I'd have to I'd do that knowing that probably 8 or 9 out of 10 this movie's gonna be just trash and explosions. So
and you know what? It's gonna be trash and explosions on a big budget, and you're gonna make
Yep.
100-fold return. So I think you're good.
I guess.
I'm straight. I'm being real.
I don't know if I ever told y'all. When I was going to see. I went to go see some movie, and they did the trailer for the Benghazi, the one that Michael Bay did. And everybody in the thing, as soon as they said a film by Michael Bay, everybody was like, the whole collective, I was like, ugh. Like
the whole theater groaned. That's hilarious. Oh my God.
When they mentioned Michael Bay and that happened too, that is, I think, that's widespread, I think, with Michael Bay, because
amazing.
It's robots and explosions with him. That's what it is.
That was some craziness. And I was just like, man, that's harsh, because people really know that Michael Bay, why he makes, these movies, I guess, that people want to see, but when they go see them, they're like super trash. They have like you always say, they show everything in the como se dice, the trailer. So then when they actually get to the movie, those are the parts that you're looking for, and then it's just like, that's it.
Again, there's a whole discussion to be had about how bad trailers are in the modern era, because the people editing trailers suck at it right now. They just do. I'm sorry. You guys really suck at putting trailers together without giving everything away. So I don't know. I'm not really going to have that discussion, because that's not always the director's fault. Sometimes the studio's like, we got to have this in the trailer because it's like, shut up. Just put a little bit in there. Just give me a taste. So.
I know we can't see the comments on the scroll below, but we do see the comments from Hannah Omega and Johnny P over on YouTube. Hi, fellas. Thank you for being on the show with us. I'm working on it. I'm gonna try and see if I can get your comments to show up, so there can be some crosstalk between the social media channels. Now, so we can't necessarily wait, because I was hoping that Fallen Marvel would be on the show and Dida would be on the show. They'd be here in time, but they're not. We got to move the show along. So the first thing I want to kind of ask you guys is, so we know that over this weekend, it was over the weekend, there was a big, Fortnite tournament that went on, and that 16-year-old kid, ended up winning $3 million in probably one of the bigger eSports purses that we've seen in history. And also it happens to coincide that this weekend is the Super Bowl of fighting games, the Evo Championship Series. And all 3 days is going to be all over Twitch. Is going to be full of some of the highest levels of competition in fighting games. So I wanted to ask you guys, based on this kid winning, at 16, winning $3 million, and he already said that, the first thing he's going to do is going to buy his mom a brand new house, which is awesome. And honestly, I need to go ahead and, just tell my son to skip, going to school and just start playing video games so he can win me some money. But I'm not serious, by the way. But so son, if you're watching, don't even think about it. So what I'm saying by that is, what do we think? How do we think the industry is going to grow from here? Like, the Fortnite purse obviously is one of the biggest purses that we've ever seen for one single entrant to come away with. GQ, speak on this a little bit. Fighting games has been around for forever, and we know that there's some really great battles and some great competition. Between this, first-person shooters and the increased exposure of esports and the rise of esports teams, where do we think this industry can go next?
In all honesty, I mean, it's one of those situations where, and again, first off, big middle finger to all the parents that said them video games will never amount,
right?
Never get you anywhere. It's like, hey, this kid just won $3 million. I mean, after taxes and whatnot, he's still got enough for hookers to blow. So I mean, he's going to be having an interesting
potty
time.
Potty mouth.
I didn't say anything bad.
Really? You want the kids to know about that? Okay.
First of all, that you're thinking of a whole different thing with your bad thoughts over there. I'm talking about hooks that you hang on your closet.
Don't even try it.
Hello?
This is the truth.
What is blow then?
Blow pops. You've never had a blow pop before?
He can buy that without $3 million.
Hey, 3 million buys a whole 3 million buys a whole bunch of that.
I'm hardly a hundred there, and I can buy that. So
okay, well. Either way, at the end of the day, this young man can buy a lot of extra stuff because of his skill from a video game. So all those parents out there talking about them games that rot your brain, they also make you some money. So it's possible. But I mean, I look at it as, yes, this is definitely something that can change the industry as a whole, because now obviously not only do you have your Fortnite, you have your Street Fighters and your Mortal Kombat, and all the stuff at Evo that's coming up this weekend. It's going to essentially be in, just like we had the one guy that's involved with Panda Global on the show earlier last year, I think it was. It's one of those situations where, yes, not everybody is going to make it, but the opportunities are vast because there's so many companies out there that will, do sponsorships for various things if you have the skill set, if you can show yourself, worthy of their attention, essentially. I mean, there's even some, and it doesn't even necessarily from the competitive side of it. There's people that stream video games, like Mario Maker 2, for example, and they got Red Bull sponsorships and various things, and they don't have to compete against anybody. They just have a following, and Red Bull's like, hey, there's some more free advertisement right there. Send this kid, a couple $1,000s a month to put a Red Bull hat on while he's streaming. So, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities there from video games that were never even considered back when, we were growing up and playing and just playing just for the fun of it. Now it's like you can play for like the business aspect of playing video games. So I think esports has, is nowhere to go but up, because it's just the opportunities are almost endless with the way the industry is structured, especially with social media and all the different ways people can get discovered.
Yeah. So, and you spoke on it too, about, parents have kind of, at least from our generation and maybe even a couple of generations after ours, they kind of didn't let their kids, they thought of video games as kind of like a complete waste of time. And I guess, looking back on it, it was almost a natural evolution to have games grow in prominence, because now our generation is becoming the ones that are kind of steering the ship as far as like the direction of entertainment, because we love video games so much and we didn't necessarily want to stop playing them. We had kids who we started at a young age playing games, and they've loved their games, and they play with their friends, and that's all they want to do. And some people might say from the psychological aspect that there is a negative drawback to playing so many games and being so addicted to it, like that whole video game addiction of I think declaration that they said is out there, and they might add it. But honestly, with esports growing as much as it is, I don't see how they really put this genie back in its bottle. I mean, there's no way they can do that. But, what I want to know is, like, could fighting games ever get to a point where it's like a battle royale game? And because, what was the thing that attracted us to fighting games when we were kids? It was that it was individual skill. That really kind of set you apart from your opponent. Whether you could read frames, whether you could pull off combos, whether you had, better twitch reflex muscles than the next guy. I mean, all of those things kind of, go part and parcel and kind of set you apart as an actual athlete, as opposed to you being able to click a mouse or, be able to be ambidextrous on a keyboard, or have a macro key, or a macro mouse that, does a whole bunch of commands for you at the push of a button. Do we think Evo could ever end up getting a purse that big for any one game?
Not unless some giant sponsor comes in and drops it on there. Also, we're going to say welcome back to Sharita. She just joined the show. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, I mean, unless you get some major sponsor to come in and drop a ton of money as almost like a pot bonus, as they would say, for the local tournaments. No, I think Fortnite got it just because Fortnite is like a global phenomenon, and they have the advertising dollars to back it up. So
Okay, I can see that.
it was just something that let's put on one of the biggest prizes for a esports related thing ever, and that's going to draw some attention. And I guarantee you, they're going to have a bunch of other people downloading Fortnite and practicing right now.
Right, absolutely.
So
I mean, it's literally a win-win, for Epic Games that they had this thing go on, and their free-to-play game is not only generating record amounts of income from people buying skins and things of that nature, but also to have probably the biggest esports tournament cash prize in one sitting ever. So I want to ask both Miao Yin and LGZ, what are your thoughts when you heard that this had happened, as far as like esports, and what's your take on the whole esports phenomenon in general?
So for me, I was a little bit shocked only because it's kind of weird, I guess, in a sense, because it's like this kid won $3 million, which is bigger than what Tiger Woods won this year, which is bigger than what the male champion at Wimbledon won this year. I mean, like and those are people that have honed their craft for years and years and years and years and years. And you got the 16-year-old kid, and I mean, I'm sure he's been playing games for years, but never as long as those professional athletes. And it's really weird, I guess, on just kind of, seeing like what is, seeing this happen, like what a time to be alive that, I'm saying, it's just, what a time to be alive. It's very, I don't know if it's setting a dangerous precedent or not. As far as like what fighting games, do or whatever, I know they have that tournament. I saw the tournament earlier this year. It was, I forgot what it was, so I forgot what game they were playing, but I mean, it's just, I don't know if that's the kind of thing that you want to be setting and saying, as if, because again, we're talking about, I don't even know how many people entered that tournament in the beginning, and it whittled down to one, and I'm sure like first got money, second, third, probably up to fifth or 10th or something like that. But just imagine how many people enter that tournament. It's kind of like winning a basketball contract or a professional contract sports or whatever. It's like one in how many millions or hundreds of thousands of people do that. And I mean, is this going to be a continuing thing? I mean, does the purse go up next year? Like, what is, like what kind of, I mean, what does this kind of say to people that, have really tried to do, hone their craft and be the best that they can, when it's just like, I can just play video games, what I'm saying? And I'm thinking to myself, if this 16-year-old kid, I'm interested in what kind of grades he has. I'm interested if he's even going to school, like those types of things.
That is a fascinating question.
Because I'm like, if you're playing that good to beat out all these other people, like you can't have time for anything else. So I mean, there's a lot of questions that I have personally, just from a parental side, that I'm just like thinking like, what's going on? But again, like I said, I think, and I don't know what kind of precedent this is going to set, as far as how we are as a society and what we value and stuff like that. So
those are all very valid points. So I'm gonna ask you this. You and I are both parents of teenage children. How has this changed your perception of your own kids playing video games? Like, if they could possibly enter tournaments and win themselves, college tuition money with the absolutely ridiculous fees and costs for college tuition, would you be more encouraging of your kids playing games knowing that this could possibly be an option?
To be honest with you, no, I don't think I would, only because I still feel like, if that kid is playing that much, how is he able to learn anyway? So, I mean, even if he won, he's won $3 million, that's more than enough for him to go to college or whatever. But I mean, has he even finished high school? Like, what I'm saying? Like, that's because you need that foundational education before you can go to college. So if you have $3 million and you don't know how to spend it, or you don't know how to do, or no one in your family knows good money management, he'll be broke by the time he's 21. Then what? What do? Enter another tournament? Like, I mean, like, what is the progression? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's a very slippery slope when it comes to that. So I personally, I'm not for it. I mean, as far as like with my son, he loves playing video games. And I mean, yes, I have an Xbox, but it's, the use of it is very regimented because I would rather them focus on reading and, stuff that can at least get them, the basics. And when they can get into college, if they want to do something else, like, my son wants to be a video game designer. And I mean, that's cool, but hey, learn it. Saying go to it and get what you can. But, playing video games, I know that's great and you can do that, but that's not how you're going to learn to do what you love. And so I just think that there's a slippery slope there when we allow, our kids to be that, saying that head into something, it's almost like a drug addiction, right? Like,
well, hold on. Here's my quick interjection in there. How is this any different from a family that grooms their son to be a football player and potentially get a scholarship to college and try to go pro and blah, blah, blah? Same thing with basketball. This is just a new quote unquote sport. Now, imagine if they all of a sudden they start offering scholarships for video game eSports players to go to college, and colleges have eSports teams.
I will say this: Northwestern actually has scholarships for eSports players to join their eSports team. So it's already out there.
More schools are starting to do the whole eSports scholarships, and all that kind of stuff. I still have I still feel some type of way for calling it a sport and stuff like that. It's an activity. It's like playing chess. It's a game and stuff like that. I wouldn't put it in the sports category. I wouldn't put it, again, and I'm sure I said this on another show sometime, I wouldn't put it in the same category as physical sports because there's a different level of physicality to it and stuff that's going on with your body and all this kind of stuff that makes something a sport and makes something else an activity.
But at the college level, the payout is higher. So actually we put it above sports.
Sure.
But do they even pay the college athletes at this point?
No.
So at least you have a chance. At least you have a chance to get paid in esports.
Right. Do you though? I mean, because I'm sure at some point they're going to try to regulate it like they do all the other college.
Exactly.
I definitely wonder. We'll see. I don't think esports is subject to NCAA rules at this point. So those athletes, those kids that get scholarships to those colleges, they can get paid because they're not subject to those sanctions
and sponsorships
and sponsored.
All I'm saying is that for now, that's right, for now, because as soon as those kids that are basketball players on scholarships and they're like, hey, why can they get money and we can't get money? That shit will change.
Oh, that's coming. You know that day is coming.
So
that's been going for a while.
When people start pouring money into these programs for universities, all that is going to change. Everything is going to change about it. Just like I said, well, I'm not sure if I said this on air and stuff, but in colleges now, Quidditch is considered a sport, and people put money into it, and they're starting to put money into it. And I'm just saying, I see it as an activity. I'm not going to go down the Quidditch rabbit hole right now.
Hold on. How would you even play that?
I'm not.
This is what I'm saying.
That is something for another day, but I'm saying it is something that is considered a college sport.
Well, hold on now. Hold on. If you give a whole bunch of people flying brooms and they do not kill themselves flying around the way they did it in Harry Potter, I will consider that a sport because that's skill.
They do not fly with the brooms.
I'm just saying, if it was done that way, then yes, it would be a skill and a sport.
I'm just saying. So
just like NASCAR.
Tonita Randall is in the chat on Facebook, and she said it's not a sport. Period.
Because it's getting more popular and stuff like that, they will start regulating it. They will. And just like esports, they will start regulating it once it starts picking up and people start pouring a bunch of money into these universities. Regulations are going to come on it. Again, I will go back to it is gaming. It is something in I don't have children or anything like that. And for me, one, I'm never going to be good enough to be in anybody's tournament because it's not a job to me. It's leisure.
It's fun.
Activity.
It's something. Yeah, it's something for you to blow off on.
So
let me ask you this, right?
Job,
well, let me ask you this though.
Oh,
let me ask you this though. So, a lot of people don't necessarily consider these activities sports, but they are kind of considered sports. Bowling, golf, NASCAR racing. Because you're driving a car, you're swinging a club, and you're rolling a ball. A lot of people don't consider them sports, but by all technicality, it is considered a sport because really it's a competition, and that's what a lot of sports are. It's not, the physical part of it.
Chess has competitions. Is that a sport?
Huh?
Chess has competitions. Is that a sport?
Some people would. Some people would consider that. Yes. Some people would consider that.
Beauty pageants they are competitions. They're not sports.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. A lot of people don't necessarily consider gymnastics sports either. So
everything that is a competition isn't a sport. I will say that.
Okay.
Let me just say that I feel that battle rap should be in the Olympics, and it is a and if you've ever been to Duval County, Florida, y'all shout out to Duval County because I went out there. They was battle rapping. It was awesome. So I think it should definitely be a competitive sport that we should recognize. We should get a petition together for that.
Well, again, you guys are thinking of it in a very interesting way. I just want our company to become the FIFA of esports then for college. So we can just basically set all the regulations. We will be the new NCAA for esports. That way we set all the regulations and rake in all that money, and the students don't get a dime.
Mm-hmm. We get all the money. They don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd be fine with that.
Capitalism at its best. That's capitalism at its best. Like Nicholas Autry is saying in the chat, a lot of people don't consider cheerleading a sport, but
that takes a lot of
ability. I think it's ridiculous that they don't consider it a sport. Honestly, those girls work hard.
Those girls and guys don't.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. That was very sexist of me. You are right. That was very sexist of me. Excuse me, fellas that are out there.
ESPN, so I technically consider it a sport.
Well, hold on.
I don't see how
Evo is on ESPN. So what are you talking about? It's definitely a sport.
Yeah, Evo was on ESPN. Yes, it was.
Yeah,
it was on ESPN. Last year or 2 years ago?
2 years ago, because I was in California. It turned on the TV in my hotel room. I'm like, wait, Street Fighter 5 is on ESPN. Right. Okay. So Evo is straight up all fighting games. So fighting games apparently are a sport. So ESPN seems to think so.
So Tanita Randall
puts things on their channel that they think people will watch.
Oh, I agree.
We're not talking about the Ocho and dodgeball now.
Right. Where's the Ocho? I'm ready for that.
Right, we're not talking about the Ocho and dodgeball now.
Hey, I've already said this before. I would love to become a professional dodgeball player. That would be
awesome. That would be absolutely awesome.
That'd be all sorts of fun.
Yeah, it'd be all kinds of fun. So Tanita Randall has issue with it. She's saying that that it's not a sport, period. And living life is a sport. Then people competing with each other every day. If that's how we want to classify sports. But
that was your classification talking about all competition.
No. I'm saying some people, a lot of people consider competition to be sport. But like Myayan said, not every competition is a sport, though.
Let me put it this way: most sports involve a ball. That's one way a lot of people usually classify it. Most sports pretty much involve some form of ball that is used for the sport. Now, granted, that cuts out a lot of things that clearly are sports. So, yeah, exactly. Karate. So, I mean, it's one of those gray areas. I look at it this way: as long as you're getting paid insane amounts of money and can get sponsored doing it, it's a sport.
Now, one thing, and Sharita brought it up in the chat just now. It's been on ESPN. It's been on TBS. As a season. I think broadcast television was trying really hard to kind of break into the market that Twitch has absolutely got a stranglehold on. Twitch and YouTube. And of course, I'm not gonna disparage Mixer and a bunch of the other video game streaming platforms. It would almost be folly to say that with the advent of like, you know, streaming media and stuff like that, that we will see, you know, over the air broadcasted video game competitions like it would be the same thing, because I think part of the allure of doing it on a streaming service is that for the most part we don't have to deal with commercials, and I don't know if it's more intimate that way, not having it broadcast, because if you do it, even if they do it broadcasting live, it doesn't seem the same like if you're watching it on Twitch or something. But I guess one avenue for the industry to grow would not be on broadcast television. Would that be fair to say, you think?
I mean, at the end of the day, broadcast TV is still one of the main reasons that companies invest, is because they can easily, I wouldn't say necessarily, because you can track your numbers on streams too. Mm-hmm. But I think what it is a lot of advertisers still understand the broadcast method of doing things versus the streaming method of doing things. Certain companies just will not do stream advertising. They just won't, because they don't get it. They don't understand it. They don't even probably, you know, have a division even dedicated to understanding streaming. It's like, look, we do our advertising on TV, print ads, billboards. That's what we do. Right. Yeah. So you have to be able to kind of work both sides of it to be 100% honest. But I think at the end of the day, especially with this whole, you know, is it a sport, is it not a sport? When you get a bunch of sponsors and ready to pay money for these people to travel the world and do what they do, whether it's a sport or not, I mean, it's definitely a profession. So.
Oh, I can agree that it's a profession. And I say, I don't knock anybody who wants to get into the eSport business. Sorry. I don't knock anybody who wants to get into the eSport business and, you know, do their thing and play video games professionally. I think that's great for them. That's not something that I can do. But, I mean, it's not something I'm going to encourage my kids to do. If they decide when they get older that, you know, my eventual kids, that they want to get into that, fine. But I'm not going to push them into it just so that they can make money in tournaments.
And you know, there is something to be said, I guess, because there, you know, sometimes there's actually some people that just are not born with the skill. I mean, let's be honest, right? Not everybody can pick up, you know, a fighting game and be good at it. You know, no matter how long they train, and, you know, do it through repetition and stuff like that. There's just some people that are just going to be more naturally gifted at playing, you know, video games than others. And I guess that's part of the reason why the esports arena has even taken off, is because, or even watching people play video games has taken off, is because people love to marvel at excellence and what they view as excellence. So, you know, some people might accuse some of these really talented esports athletes, if you want to call them athletes, that might be, you know, that might be a stretch. But a lot of people just love watching them play because they're doing things that they probably never would be able to do themselves. And they're not doing it through, you know, cheat codes or glitches or anything like that. This is just natural skill. And I guess that's why, part of the reason why the NBA 2K League has flourished. Honestly, I thought it was a cute idea. Even though it was backed by the NBA, I never thought the NBA 2K League would even last more than a season. I thought it would be like a passing fancy. A lot of the owners would bail on it as, you know, something that's interest. But I guess it's a testament really to the esports arena that it has managed to stay in, you know, be very, very popular in its second season. And I don't see it slowing down anytime soon.
You have fantasy football and fantasy basketball. Of course, it's going to take off because you're actually getting to see something happen, you know, regarding this competition. Then, okay, I got a whole bunch of points here and I got to mark this down on my little checklist. No, it's the same thing. It's you're watching, you know, a virtual sport this time around. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, there's always going to be an audience for whatever is put out there. That's just life.
Yeah, but
how it goes.
I think that when you think about fantasy football versus something like this gaming tournament, that's two totally different things.
Well, fantasy football, I think, is heavily tied to gambling too. So
I understand that, but what I'm saying is from the sports aspect, you have people that play fantasy football and fantasy basketball, so it's not a stretch to think that a league dealing with the same game just on a video game and video game aspect. People, I get,
but it's different because you don't have to play. It's not like you're controlling it or you're playing it. It's literally based on the actual people who play the actual games. So in this gaming tournament is somewhat different. You have to actually learn how to play these games. And so again, back to what I said, if these kids are learning this, something's got to suffer. If they're spending that much time learning the game so they can beat and learning everything around it, something's got to be sacrificed. And it's like, it's different. I think it's just different.
Like I said, I put it in the exact same vein as anybody that pushes their kid to be a baseball player with hopes of them going pro and all this other all the other sports. Yeah. I put it in the exact same bag.
Yeah, but I can see that.
At least with those types of sports, there's still like a pass to play rule or whatever. So you know that the educational side of it has to be taken care of because they're not letting these kids play if they're not passing.
They can
we don't know that is something that's regulated in this gaming tournament.
Again, that's something that might come up at some point, but while they're in your household as a parent, the pass to play is on the parent.
That's totally under your control. Totally
right. Once they get into college, and if the colleges have the exact same regulations they have for the other sports, I put them in the same bag.
Right.
Yeah, but we don't know that that's going to happen with this because
again, it's in its infancy.
Well, look, and to run counter to what you're saying now, a lot of the colleges, or I shouldn't say a lot of the colleges, the NBA is probably the leading. Well, the NBA and the NHL and even Major League Baseball for just for comparison's sake, right? They allow kids to get drafted right out of high school. So like literally, a kid could fail in high school, but if he proves his skill, in any way, shape, or form, they can immediately bypass college and join the minor league system, like immediately.
In high school, if you got bad grades, you are not on those teams.
But you would be on an AAU team, which is totally outside of any academic constraints.
So yes. That's where we have what's that one in New York where it's like not basketball, but they do all the tricks and stuff, but they're really good basketball players.
And one.
Yeah, that's that. That's not that. And how many of those and one players have actually gone to the league? Like less than 1%.
No. But I'm just saying. I'm saying literally the NBA has the G League. Like the instant you graduate high school, you can try out for a G League team, or you can be drafted by a G League team if they have seen you on the AAU circuit and you've been balling out. Even if you don't have the grade, but you can prove that you have this skill, they want you. They will take you. I'm just saying.
No, I know because I had a friend who played internationally, international basketball straight out of high school. So I get that part, but I'm just saying I just don't think that. Okay, I've said my.
You don't think it? Well, I get your larger point. We have to be very, very careful with how this could. We have to be very careful with how we how much importance is put on playing video games and what's the trade-off between the educational health of the kids and long term. I totally get that and I totally agree with you. I do.
Skip that. I don't see nope, heck no. Ain't being safe, nothing like that. How many concussions?
Clown call me the Joe Jackson of video games?
Yeah, he did. I was laughing. Yeah, he did. But no, I look at it this way. How many concussions you had playing video games?
True.
So how many people have died playing video games because they're trying to stay up on the Red Bull?
Hey, look, we ain't like them crazy people in Korea at the net cafes for 24 hours.
Hold on. Staying up and drinking Red Bull and not taking care of yourself is a personal choice. That has zero to do with the video game.
That part is totally true.
You playing football, you can get a concussion from playing football.
You can die from heat stroke playing football.
Right. That's in the course of the game. So when it comes down to longevity, eSports might even be a better deal on that regard because the only thing you got to worry about is arthritis.
I know, girl.
You can live with that.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, you can live with that.
Well, okay.
Hey,
All right, people.
Again, I'm coming from the standpoint of I don't have kids, so you guys can have all the kid discussions and all that. I'm looking at it from the financial possibility.
I get the financial part, but we have enough, as you like to say, inadequate people in the world that we need to get rid of.
Again, Thanos hashtag
Thanos
Thanos
is right.
Thanos is still right, but again, I don't care how many of them are out. But like I said, more people for me to suck the life out of, so I can live long enough to see Disney buy DC, and I can get my Justice League versus
I like how we
Avengers.
get right back around to the beginning. That's awesome.
Hey, again, it always comes back to me in some form or fashion.
I mean, okay.
No, Tanita Randall, she's stone cold. She's like, I'd be damned if my son playing video games and getting Fs. He playing nothing. No games, no sports. Hell, he can't even play with himself with bad grades. Damn.
Okay.
Damn.
Okay.
Yes.
Shout out to my best friend Tanita.
Okay. But Miss Tanita, if I don't know, let's say who's still around? Mad Cats? I like Mad Cats personally. Let's say Hori decides to throw him a $20,000 a month sponsorship to play video games, and he can work and get his grades up at the same time. Is it still a bad decision?
GQ sitting over there in his $1 million man jacket with the $1 million man belt over his shoulder with the wad of cash in his hands, like everybody's got a prize.
Again, I'm not trying to buy the youngster. I'm just saying a lot of people. It's easy for people to say, and again, I'm not saying if he's getting Fs, then that's a whole different issue.
Yeah. Totally.
But it's one of those situations when the money suddenly shows up and it becomes a reality. Suddenly, it's like, hold on, get over there and study. But damn it, you can go and have 2 hours of Fortnite tonight as well.
Right. Gotta get them skills in. So Hannah Omega has done switched it up. He says GQ is now would be the Joe Jackson of video games. He wouldn't have kids, so that wouldn't
exactly.
He wouldn't have kids, so I don't think that analogy applies.
Have zero use for them.
Yeah.
Zero. None. But and I don't need to be Joe Jackson because Joe Jackson was a little bit abusive. Joe Jackson was a little bit abusive.
King of video games.
No. Don King got
horrible
hair. Don King's hair is terrible.
Don King.
Good hair.
And this sucks as a segue. And this sucks as a segue. But welcome to the show, the Great Dadakuji.
What's up, man? How are you?
That's not the segue I wanted.
Right.
You can blame.
We didn't choose it.
Yeah.
Hey, Sharita's agreeing with him. But Sharita's agreeing with him. She said you would be the Joe Jackson of video games. Anyway, that's funny.
Again, first of all, I'm always, when it comes down to anything, I'm always going to be the most ruthless when it comes down to what makes the most money. That's always how that's going to be. That's just life. Period. Just
Tony
saying.
Young's PT Barnum of video games, he says. Anyway, I want to say, and Tonita answered your question, by the way, but Dido, jump in here and give us kind of your thoughts. I don't know if how long you've been listening in or know where we are, but what's your take on where the industry could go after the kid won the $3 million playing Fortnite?
Well, it's gonna get bigger. We all know that video games, competitive ones, they're not going anywhere. Not happening. Specifically, now that you see that some kid won was it 3 million or 3.6? I don't know, but it was more money than I had. Mm-hmm. So you're gonna see, because you probably guys already talked about it. You got parents who are the type of parents that will push their kids in whatever sport they want them to be in, be it football, basketball, and make sure that you're going to freaking play this. You're going to be at every practice. You're going to freaking be in the gym. You're going to be, working this stuff out. There's tons of parents like that. From my understanding, Tiger Woods' dad was like that to him. And there's countless football and basketball parents that want their kids to make it to the pro. Some of them make it to the pros and some of them get burned out and it never happens. But I'm pretty sure you're going to start seeing parents that watch these kids play Apex Legends or Fortnite or some fighting game or what have you. And it's going to be like, all right, they look like they're good. Let's, see what we can do. But it's not going to be people who are older than us. It's going to be people who are like our age I personally, if I had a son or a daughter, I'd love them to play video games, but I'm not going to push them to do anything they don't want to do. And if I had tons of video games and they never want to play them, it's just be like, you know what, fine. But there's going to be people out there that's like, oh, if my kid does this, then I can make it rich. But also with saying that, because video games are not basketball, they're not freaking, any of those sports out there, anybody can pick it up and practice and start playing it. It's a lot easier to get into competitive video games than it is any other sport. Those sports, you got to start at a young age, period. There are people out there, if you have enough will and determination, that could probably say, you know what, I played Doom back in the 90s. How hard could Fortnite be? And just get into it and actually start to get good at it. That's I think a lot easier than, say me. It's like, you know what, I'm going to pick up professional hockey. It's never going to happen. I'll never make it in NHL. It's not going to happen.
Sir, I suck at fucking fighting games and I always will.
But you could actually put the time into it if you met people that would, coach you and you had because the suckage part is like right now, right? And you don't have the time to do what I'm saying. You literally would have to sink in 8 hours every day. It'd be like picking up the piano or picking up, a martial art out there where you consistently always practicing. But it's a lot. When I say easier, I don't mean it's like, oh, it's simple. I'm saying that you can do that, whereas you'll never make it to the NHL or NFL or the WNBA or what have you at this current point in your life. That's not happening. But you could get good at Fortnite at your current point in your life, or Tekken or Street Fighter or something like that. At this point, I think that's easier.
Well, to run counter to your point, you're right. She could train and, be technically good, but mentally, if she doesn't think like that, if she doesn't think strategically with as far as like, considering chip damage, what combo takes priority over another, whether you get invincible frames and things of that nature. There's the extra high level, stuff that separates, the regular gamers from the normal ones. So would she be okay at it? Yeah, but would she ever be like some of these ultra elite, players? Probably not.
Yeah, I mean that's another part that comes to almost anything is having that mentality, because there's been tons, going back to like professional sports, there's been tons of people who were great in high school, great in college, and got to the pros and didn't have the mentality for the pros. I mean, Jamarcus Russell comes to mind all the time. They said that guy was supposed to be this great guy and football player, and everybody's looking for him being it. Yeah, and he just didn't have that mentality. So. Right. Yeah, that's also a part of it. It is training, but with training usually comes discipline and mentality with it, but not necessarily. I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, there's always the other alternative. You just have to, for example, if we want Miao Yin to become like one of the best Street Fighter players ever, brainwash. I mean, again, I mean, come on now. They've been doing it in other countries for years. Like, you think all these sudden ballerinas and prima ballerinas and all these various things or just because they were drilled and trained and basically indoctrinated into being the best. Gymnastics in China.
There's a similarity in the training that you undertake when you are learning a physical sport and learning as Fallen Marvel said in the chat, a mental sport. I don't have the mental fortitude to learn how to play fighting games well. I play other games very well. Fighting games, I just don't.
You don't know. You see, you think that now. I guarantee you get put into a fighting game boot camp where you drop a combo and they take that bamboo reed right across your knuckles.
Boot camp or anything like that. If somebody is forced or indoctrinated and all of that, yes, anybody, that's just how, they either going to die or they're going to learn. There you go. That's anybody. That's human beings. But what I'm saying is I know myself enough, and also almost playing these games for almost 30 years. Not exactly, but almost 30 years. I just know that's just not my bag. Being a athlete growing up, I know that there are physical sports that I will always be good at, and I can always pick it back up, and with the right amount of training, I could do very well in. That's, it goes to muscle memory and all that kind of stuff. There are always going to be people who will do that. I'm not fit. I'm not going to be one of those tournament people for, video games and stuff like that. Just not. Never going to be one of those types of people. My husband might be one of those types of people. I'm not.
Okay, so we're gonna give you $25,000 a month to play Street Fighter, but you have to learn how to be good at it. I guarantee you, we will find you a coach that would be good at Street Fighter.
I probably wouldn't take it.
Really?
No.
Interesting. That's really interesting.
Tekken, I'll take it. If it's Tekken, I'll take it.
Yeah, it's a different game.
Interesting.
Specifically Street Fighter.
Again, it could be whatever fighting game they decide to sponsor you for. But what I'm saying is, and again, you wouldn't get a sponsor coming knocking at your door unless you were good enough anyway. But what I'm saying is, on the training side of things, people will do a lot of things for money. And I guarantee you could find somebody that could be the Street Fighter coach or the Tekken coach or whatever coach and get your skills up to the point where you can be competitive pro player.
That's what they have for Fortnite right now. They have those.
I know. So again, it can be done with anybody, regardless of any natural. They can have a natural affinity for it, but anybody can be programmed to do whatever it is that you need them to do.
Hey, we just talking about parents getting their kids try to freaking. I'm scrolling through as you're talking on Facebook as well, and one of our friends have put on his Facebook page when parents find out kids can win money playing Fortnite, and they do that like a short video about it. I was like, exactly what I was saying before you said it. There's good because there's people that do that in football, basketball, hockey, what have you. So
this
might be a joke.
For everything.
Yeah.
They're called greedy.
I want to know how I can share this though. Facebook is stupid.
Well, but either way it goes, I look at it this way.
I'll share it to my page.
There you go. I look at it this way. There's going to definitely be people that do exactly what Dido was talking about, and I'm
absolutely.
And I'm going
doing it right now. They got
there,
Susie saying, "Hey, you're going to learn how to do this better than you do it now, so you can win us some money." I guarantee.
Let me put it to you this way.
Right now, doing it probably down the street.
Probably, but let me put it to you this way. Right after that tournament, I guarantee you a whole bunch of Xboxes and PS4s that have been asked for and were not given have suddenly been given and bought now.
Yep.
Them bad boys is being bought up now. It's like, oh, wait, hold on. Fortnite. Is that on PS4? Yeah, Mom. It's on PS4.
It's on Switch. It's on Xbox.
Right. I know you've been asking. Matter of fact, they probably gonna get them. They probably gonna get them all the systems that we train for all the different.
That's
different
true.
Types.
Because especially on the Switch, because you take the Switch on the road with you. Say, hey, so when we in the car and I'm taking you somewhere, you're gonna be playing Fortnite. Right. That's your training. Right. And when you at home after you're done with your dinner and you're done with your homework, you gonna hop on that Fortnite and get some training in. Yeah. Yes, they're gonna do that. They're gonna do that.
I cannot wait to see how this affects society. I can't wait to see how this affects society.
I'm pretty sure it started last year because didn't last year Fortnite tournament they gave away 100 million? So
100 million,
not 100 million, not 100 million, but they gave away a large amount of money or whatever, previously to even get it up to this 3 million pot that we have now. I think this has been piling on. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Probably.
And let's move on to the main topic of the day. But I'm gonna answer Hand of Omega's question. He's like, maybe VG companies contributed to the purse, hoping to boost sales. Fortnite is free to play, my friend.
Yeah, Fortnite gets all this money off of microtransactions. There's no sales to boost. They get all their money off of microtransactions.
That's right. There's no sales to boost. So anyway, that was a great discussion on that topic. If you jumped in late and missed kind of our comments in the beginning, after the show's over, run it back. But right now we're moving forward to the next topic. So the next topic is I wanted to talk about, the main topic, which was, the guilty pleasures that we all enjoy. As you see from the title card, we had the Guyver live action film. A lot of people consider that not to necessarily be the greatest of films, but it's become a cult classic anyway. Whether it be because John Jimmy Walker was in there, or Mark Hamill was in there, or if you're talking about Guyver 2 Dark Hero that gave us David Hayter pre Metal Gear Solid, or if Miao Yin confided in me that one of her guilty pleasures is Halle Berry's Catwoman, which is incredulous to me, but whatever. Or other people that might watch a certain type of anime, just that is excessively titillating, but they watch it because it makes them laugh, and they know it's trash, but they watch it anyway. So we're gonna recount some of our favorite guilty pleasures, and so I'm gonna call Miao Yin to the carpet and kind of explain this whole thing with Halle Berry Catwoman.
I'm here.
What is that? What is that all about?
It is a bad movie, but I like the story. It's entertaining to me. It is not a good movie. I know that. I know it is not a good movie, but I enjoy John Leguizamo. I enjoy Halle Berry. I enjoy Sharon Stone. Is Sharon Stone in it? I think Sharon Stone is in it. I enjoy it. It's just, when she falls out of that tunnel and it's an entertaining movie to me. It is bad. I know it is a bad movie and people famously hate it. I love her costume in it though. That Catwoman costume is great. I don't care what anyone says. So that is one of my guilty pleasures. I will watch it if I happen to catch it on a channel that doesn't have commercials. And yeah, it's entertaining to me.
Anybody seen Halle Berry's Catwoman in heavy rotation on any of the cable channels? Anybody?
It pops up every now and then.
I was about to say that movie doesn't come on channels that don't have commercials.
This is what I'm saying. Like, anybody seen that?
A couple years ago, it was on there. Now, I hardly watch TV now, so I don't even know. But I will say, if I'm like,
this is how much she likes it. Hold on. This is how much you like it. Fallen Marvel pointed out that it was Benjamin Bratt, not John Leguizamo, that was in that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get them two mixed up. I'm sorry.
Apparently.
Wow, really?
I do. I'm gonna be honest.
That's racist.
So, that is so bad. I'm gonna put a picture up of John Leguizamo and Benjamin Bratt up right next to each other, and I'm gonna try and have you explain how in the world you mistake one for the other.
You guys confused. I like both of your guys' movies.
Tanita says you're no longer friends anymore. Trash.com. That's hilarious.
Not only that, I mean,
this is guilty pleasures, though.
Hold on.
Guilty pleasure. I told you.
Hold on, Miao Yin. Did you see Doctor Strange?
Yes. Okay.
The guy that played Patagorn was Benjamin Bratt.
I know.
Did you see Spawn?
A long time ago. I haven't seen it.
It's a really bad example because he was.
Oh, have you seen John Wick?
Heavy makeup.
Have you seen John Wick?
Yeah, have you seen John Wick?
But in that John Wick versus what he looked like in Doctor Strange, they do kind of favor a little bit. They could be brothers.
First of all,
not really.
Two different people.
Yeah. I know they're two different people, but they could be brothers.
That was one of my guilty pleasures. I do not feel like
First of all, Benjamin Bratt was in Miss Congeniality with Sandra Bullock. So
is that a guilty pleasure of yours?
That's your classic Benjamin Bratt look that everybody remembers. John Leguizamo's probably classic look would be Romeo and Juliet.
What? John Leguizamo plays in so much, so I don't know. John Leguizamo looks like he changes his look a lot. So
how would you know? Thinking he's Benjamin Bratt. You might be thinking he's changing his look, and you're just watching a Benjamin Bratt movie. Oh man.
And I will tell you why I get them confused, because I used to watch. What is it called?
Law and Order.
Well, yes, I watch Law and Order all the time, but it was something that Benjamin Bratt was in. It was something John Leguizamo was in, and they had a similar look. And I just for that time, since then, I've always like mixed them up. So anyway, can we move on to another different?
You probably be one of the people that confuse Edward James Olmos with other dude. So. That's all right.
Edward James
Don't worry about
Olmos with Lee Diamond Phillips.
Yep, she probably does.
Lou Diamond Phillips, yeah.
Why would
Why would anyone do that?
Way.
no, I'm just saying, you never forget American Me. Like, you never forget American Me. You never forget that. He don't look nothing like Lou Diamond Phillips. You never forget American Me.
I have to agree with you, but here we
Burns
are.
in your brain.
Here we are. Anyway, LGZ, what's one of your guilty pleasures that you love to partake in that you just can't help it?
Actually, I actually watched, which I think it's a really cool movie. A lot of people, when they see it, they tell me it's not. But Scott Pilgrim versus the World, I watched that movie like a bunch of times. I like all the corny movies and Super Bad, all those crazy weird movies that most of the people that I know and hang around with don't like. And I'm usually the odd person out.
So like, and that kind of brings up a question. I mean, how do you share your proclivity for really goofy / cheesy movies with those friends? Or you kind of just kind of keep that to yourself, and that's your own thing. And like, even when they start talking about it and trashing it, you just get real quiet. Like,
okay, so my like for the weird, according to my friends, is like not only is movies, but it's also music. And so if you come hang out with me in my house, you watching what I watch, you listening to what I'm playing. So, it's kind of like
give us some examples. What's some of the music that you listen to that other people might find?
So rock is my first love. Metallica was the first band that I ever loved, and then it was not. Yeah, but see, a lot of the people that I hang with ain't into that at all.
Okay, that just means that your people need to broaden their horizons.
Right.
They're a little sheltered.
But they think I'm like, excuse the term, they think I'm white bread, so
now see,
Except for rock
I
and roll
hate
is invented
that.
by black people. What's the?
I can't stand that.
I'm just telling y'all.
Yeah, but rock and roll is invented by black people. So
we know this. I know this. But I'm just, but Metallica ain't black, so it don't matter. Nine Inch Nails ain't black, so it don't matter.
Don't matter. It's still good.
That's sad. That's kind of sad.
Hey, if it's good, it's good.
Right.
See, I feel. When I watch my weird movies like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, or Beaches or whatever, just weird, my stuff that I like to watch that nobody else like, Max. I saw Max Payne. I was like, oh my God, I love this movie. Everybody's like, that movie was was trash. I was just like,
okay.
I'm
I hear
weird.
you. No, I get it.
Beaches. How did Beaches get on the list though?
Look. Because we got Waiting to Exhale. Because we got Waiting to Exhale. That's why.
I mean that was an odd inclusion though. You went from Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which is a great movie,
right?
Whether people want to call it weird or not, that was a great movie. Great
video
game movie. Whether people want to admit that or not, it was great. And then Max Payne, quite low on the totem pole, but I mean it's just a movie. It's a Mark Wahlberg movie, so some people like the Wahlberg. But Beaches? Like, where did that was odd.
It's not really. People think I'm weird when I watch it.
I didn't say you're weird. It came out of left and right field at the same time. It was kind of unusual.
No, because there's Waiting to Exhale, so I should like that more.
Again, I'm not saying you have to like Waiting to Exhale. It's just the Beaches just came out of nowhere. It was interesting. I'm not saying this. That's all I'm saying.
All right, so I'm gonna show you something. So here's Mr. John Leguizamo.
Oh my God, are we back on this again?
Of course.
I mean, I
could tell you my next guilty pleasure, and I'm sure you guys want to roast me for that. So can we move from the John Leguizamo thing?
Hell no, we can't move from no John Leguizamo.
Why?
No, hell no. No.
Okay, like we get it.
So there's John Leguizamo, right? Okay, there's John Leguizamo, and here is Benjamin Bratt.
Okay, those are older pictures of them. Like I will find a picture where they look alike, and actually they don't look like. Okay, Benjamin Bratt has a beard. Okay, Show the picture of John Leguizamo.
Well, Benjamin Bratt.
Show John Leguizamo with his beard. That's all I'm saying.
Well, either way, Benjamin Bratt is married to Princess Katana, so whatever.
Talisa Soto. Yes, he is. So anyway,
also Vampirella.
Yeah. Which is probably also on somebody's guilty pleasure list, because there's no way that movie. There's no way.
That's on Hand of Omega's guilty pleasure list.
Probably, yeah. He rolls like that.
Barbed Wire too. Barbed Wire. That's a good. I like that movie too.
Wow, you really surprising me here with kind of the kitschy choices of films that you really enjoy. I bravo. Okay, because even last night, right? Last night I watched them back to back. I watched Dolph Lundgren's Showdown in Little Tokyo, and then I watched The Punisher, back to back. For whatever reasons, in that Punisher movie, I haven't seen that Punisher movie in years. Oh my god, that movie was so bad. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I don't know why, but it was just Nicholas Autry with the Disorderlies with the Fat Boys. Damn, that's throwing it back, man. Wow.
But that was a good movie too.
Yeah. What are some of yours, GQ? What's some of your guilty pleasures?
I don't have.
You don't have guilty pleasures. That's right.
I just have pleasure. I do what I enjoy. Period. That I don't feel any guilt about it. I don't feel no shame about it. It's I do what I like to do. So I don't think you can throw no guilt on it.
Okay.
You can. I like Kroll. I like Last Action Hero. I like what I like. Period. That's all there is to it. I cannot be shamed for my indulgences.
Okay. What about you, Dada? What are some of your guilty pleasures? Kind of just go back on keep talking about.
It's kind of weird because it's the same thing for me. If I'm gonna like what I like, I don't give a shit if anybody else likes it or not. And I don't feel guilty in watching it. And I don't recall many movies that I can say that were bad that people... I really like watching B movies. I'll go and watch B movies. I'm kind of glad that we had that topic last week because I was spending too much time watching a lot of A movies, I guess, if you want to call them. And I was it was a time where I used to go to video store and I would just rent, whatever, and just wow, oh my gosh, this is funny, it's hilarious. And that's how I learned out a lot of stuff that now people call cult classics and stuff.
Does that include Human Centipede though?
No, that movie is garbage. That's not a guilty pleasure.
I'm just checking.
No, I watched that movie because I was curious to see what it was about. It was a bad decision. That movie was the first and only movie I've ever watched that's not, based on anything real, that literally physically made my stomach turn. I was like, this is terrible. And I guess that was the whole point. It was a shock. It was supposed to be like that. But when I was a kid, had that movie came out, I probably would have rented it because that's just how I am. When I see a cover or something, I see something. I didn't have many friends that like movies like I did when I was growing up. So I would go to videos. We were at Blockbuster so much they gave us a gold fucking membership. And I didn't know what the fuck a gold membership did, but we just got in the mail. I was like, the fuck that is? I was renting games and movies like no tomorrow. But that was something I like to do. And when I found out about Tubi TV, and we did that thing last week about the B 100, the 100 greatest B movies or whatever.
Yeah,
I started watching some. I watched Hard Ticket to Hawaii. I watched another one. Called what was it called? The Malibu Express. That was also done by the same guy that did Hard Ticket to Hawaii. I watched what was it called? Miami Connection, which was what the heck is going? I'll sit and watch just movies like that, and it was one of the things that I liked doing, trying to find movies that are not really known and sitting back and watching them. So
here's one of mine, right? So I liked, Showdown in Little Tokyo, and also liked the Punisher. But because I loved the Conan movies when I was younger. So I watched Brigitte Nielsen's Red Sonja. Now a lot of people would classify that definitely as a guilty pleasure for whatever reason, because it wasn't a good movie. It really wasn't. But I used to watch it on repeat. I think I taped it, and I would watch it every day one summer or something like that. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't get enough of it for whatever reason. I thought it was cool. I liked it. And
Hey.
you know, to hell with everybody else saying it, you know, they didn't like it. The Last Boy Scout. A lot of people don't consider that,
I
you know,
like that
one of Bruce Willis's movies. I freaking love that movie. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I like Last Boy Scout. I haven't seen that in many years.
Mm-hmm.
Many.
On my Plex, man.
Tons
Check
of
it
them.
out. It's on my Plex.
I already told you. Whenever
No,
I want
hey,
to watch, it's
I've been
turned
leaving
off.
Ultron on. You could check it out during the day.
Oh,
I've been
that'd be
leaving
nice.
Ultron on. So
Today I wasn't watching too many of those because I was watching The Boys, and then I made my way out to the theater. I actually saw 2 movies in the theater today, so that's why I was kind of late. So, anywho, maybe next time, but I definitely would check that out too. So I like Last Boy Scout.
I mean, we're talking. A lot of us have talked about movies, but like, would we consider? And LGZ kind of talked about, you know, some music.
Oh, you were talking about video games?
We can talk about video games. We can talk about anime. We can talk about, you know, more than just, you know, guilty pleasure movies. You know, what's other guilty pleasures that you?
I put it on my freaking what is the random pick of today? It was on my Facebook and Instagram. You guys can check out. You search Daidakuji, you can see all that stuff. But it was Sonic Unleashed. It is a Sonic game I actually played, and after Sonic made the move to 3D, everybody was like, was Sonic ever good? Because these Sonic 3D games suck. And everybody wanted to go back to 2D Sonic games. I'm not talking about Sonic 2006, which was garbage in many ways, but Sonic Unleashed, if you want to call that a guilty pleasure, I like it because you have the fast levels that's like how Sonic's supposed to be, and then you have the Werehog levels that play like a God of War light. And I'm like, people, oh, that's not Sonic. I was like, I don't give a care. I mean, it's different, and it wasn't bad. It's not like the controls are bad. It's not like the gameplay was bad. It's just not what people consider Sonic's supposed to be. But I guess that game would be. But when it comes to many things I buy in my collection, I try very hard not to buy shitty stuff. I buy what I like. So it's kind of difficult to, again, say that. And if you want to call it guilty pleasure anime, Project Echo, that's my shit.
I mean, but is that really a guilty pleasure? That's more of a classic.
I love it. Project Echo, Ramen One Half, all those things from the 80s and early 90s.
Okay. So I'll throw out a few that I consider, you know,
Golden
like guilty
Boy.
pleasure anime, like you know, the tropes with harem animes. You know, a lot of those would be considered, you know, guilty pleasures for various reasons. Some of them are funny, some of them are just, you know, in general just clash, you know, just complete trash, or the ones that are just over the top toilet humor. Like some people might even say Crayon Shin-chan would be, you know, like a guilty pleasure type anime because, dude, it's just so foul. In a lot of ways, or you know, let's throw it back, like guilty pleasure. Here's the ultimate one: Ping Pong Club.
Oh yeah, okay. If you would call that guilty pleasure, I would
Yes.
say so, because that would turn people off. I don't know.
Yes.
If the second episode where my man covered himself in food was getting licked on by all those dogs. Most people would have been like, "I'm done. I'm not watching this." But yeah, the
Sharita Jackson just brought one up. Monster Musume is one. Monster Musume is a guilty pleasure, definitely. What was that? The one with the butt anime, the Keijo that I think they had. I haven't watched it. You know, I don't think I would ever watch it, but a lot of people would consider that a guilty pleasure.
What about Apocalypse Zero? I don't think we ever could sit through that.
What the hell is that?
Apocalypse Zero was an anime that took place in the after Apocalypse. Fist in the North Star.
This thing.
Think Fist in the North Star, but a lot worse. One of the things I remember was this really extremely fat woman who liked boys and would suck their faces off and like put them on her nipples.
What?
Yeah, and then I just remember like the main protagonist, like I think he had like a powered suit, kind of like those.
Yes, I remember
punched
now.
her in the fucking stomach, and she just vomited like tons of bones of all the people she ate. That was kind of fucked up.
You know, Sharita Jackson's read my mind. High School of the Dead is another guilty pleasure anime. Man, you know, it's too bad that the creator of High School of the Dead died and will never get to he'll never be able to finish that, because the manga actually was getting really good. I liked it a lot. The manga was getting good. Yeah. So
hold on, Sharita, which Witchblade are you talking about? The TV show, or are you talking about the anime?
Oh man, the TV show. Let's not talk about that, man. That TV show. That one was rough. I wouldn't even call that as a guilty pleasure. You know, Hannah Omega's right. You know, and even I think no, yeah, he's right. Iki Tosin would count, But another one would count, and that's in GQ's collection. That's Tenjo Tenge. Is another like almost guilty pleasure anime, because honestly, it hits two different areas. It's very titillating with the art style and stuff like that, but it's also violent and and it's all about martial arts and fighting, and it's actually really good it's actually really good as well. But what are some other guilty pleasures that we got, like whether it be like TV shows that that just, well, obviously TV shows will be hard because if it's not very good, it's not going to last very long. But what TV shows would you consider like a guilty pleasure of yours, like that is like so far out of the realm of you liking it but you just watch it anyway? Like I'm talking like if Dido was an avid fan of Ally McBeal at one time or something like that. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that you were.
I'm trying to think of a show that's like that not many people. Most of the TV shows I do watch and have watched have always been super popular ones, because
like
they were worth watching.
What about The Guild?
I didn't never finish The Guild because it got to a point where I was just like, okay, what are these people doing? They're starting to get annoying, and I want to finish it. I just haven't yet. So it's still out there for me to watch, when it comes to streaming stuff. But let me think. It's really difficult. I mean, some of the stuff back in the day I used to like. I don't know if we would call it guilty pleasure, like Out of This World. Remember that show? The girl is half alien.
I do remember that show. Yeah,
I used to really love that show because I always wish I could stop time and do shit. And what else used to come on that I used to watch? Empty Nest. I used to like to watch that show.
Wow, now that one is a very surprising entry from you. Empty Nest is like way out of like
it was like a Golden Girls spinoff.
Yeah.
I think they also had another one called Nurses, which was also a spinoff of that. I don't remember which one came
Estelle
first.
In that one?
I think you saw her once in a while, but she wasn't like prominent in there. I forget the doctor's name. I don't even remember all the characters' name, but I remember a little bit about the shows. I used to watch them when I was a kid.
I gotta read this one. So Mr. Reese is over on YouTube watching the show. He was like, I was watching High School DxD, which is my anime, but my ex woke up to me watching it one time and made me feel bad, like I was watching porn. That's almost kind of exactly what I was talking about. Like people would look at you like with a side eye, like
oh dude, a lot of people, like I told you, I watch anime every single day on my break at lunch. Half hour, got my tablet out, and there's been many times I see people looking over my shoulder. Now there's been people that know of the anime. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, and I'm pretty sure I forget which anime that I was watching, but almost every fucking situation was something just like weird. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gonna happen every single friggin' time somebody walks by. Something weird is gonna happen, because you got those people out there that think that anime is friggin' porn and
Pokemon or for kids or something like that.
Yeah, it's whatever. It's just because something is animated does not mean it's
for kids.
Yeah, for kids.
Whew. All right, let's throw it back to LGZ and Miayin. What are some more of your guilty pleasures that you love to share? I loved hearing your music choices, by the way. They were great.
Oh yeah, no, I love music. I listen to classical, I listen to rock, I listen to country, which is also another one of my guilty pleasures, I think, because nobody I know likes country. Nobody, not even my white friends. So
ain't nothing wrong.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But I mean, nobody that I know likes country.
Well, see, here's the problem. Here's the problem I have with the people that treated you the way they treated you. It's like, why does everybody got to fit into this box? This defined box of saying, hey, if you black, you're only allowed to to like or watch or be into these things.
Bro, I thought it was supposed to be like that. I thought it was supposed to be like that growing up too, and I was trying to fit in and shit, and then it just never worked. So I figured out, you know what, I'm gonna do what the fuck I like. Language, I'm gonna do what I like.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think that's it. I think it's just more that people.
Two things. Sharita Jackson wants you to come and be her friend.
I
That's
love
one.
you, Sharita. I love you, Sharita.
The second thing is Hannah Omega is wondering, is she lifting weights off screen? Hey, you got to get the reps in, dude.
Sorry. Yes, no. I mean, like, I don't think it's so much that you can't like the music or I can't like the music. I think it's the fact that I'm very vocal about the music that I like. And maybe that's the issue. I don't know, but I really like, I listen to a lot of stuff when I'm at work. Sometimes I'm like blasting salsa in my office and they're like, do you even understand what it's saying? I'm like, yeah, I speak Spanish. So yeah, it's like, oh, okay. And then they kind of look weird and then they walk off and it's just like, what the fuck? So I don't know. I have a weird life. But I mean, I'll be more than happy to share my musical list with anybody. I'm on Spotify. Find me on Spotify.
Yeah, cool. So maybe you should do that.
Yes.
Maybe you should post some of your Spotify playlists onto the Facebook fan page and or on Twitter. That probably is a good thing. Something to look forward to. It sure returns your affections. By the way, she does.
Yay.
What were you gonna say, Miayan? What's some more of your guilty pleasures because you were gonna tell us something?
Oh, I have tons of guilty pleasures.
Yeah. So what was one that you said we was gonna roast you over? So what is this one?
Oh, well, before I do that, like for music, as we're talking about, like I like trip hop, which is like a British thing, and so I don't know if anybody knows who Tricky is or the band.
Tricky, wasn't he in Fifth Element?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't.
I like his music, and I like Massive Attack, and I don't know anybody who likes that type of music, and I like it. So Massive Attack they do the theme song for Luther, and they do the theme song for House, and I think their music I'm like obsessed with it. So that's like kind of a guilty pleasure because I will play it in my car, or I'll have days where I play it all day and people are kind of just like, I guess that's the thing, Sounds kind of good, but kind of sad. But then it's kind of like really hopping, but then it's kind of like, I don't know what's going on. Okay, cool. That's just what it is. So the movie that I was thinking about is The Man with the Iron Fist. I like that movie.
What?
Is a film.
What?
Okay, LL has Massive Attack. Like, see, this is why I can vibe with you. This is why I can vibe with you, because you get that. We vibe on music. Anyway, so yes, Man with the Iron Fist. It is a terrible film. People do not enjoy it, but I do. And I don't know why, but it just brings me joy. I really laughed through it. I laughed through most of the film, but it's so fun to me. It's so fun.
Have you watched the sequel?
I have not seen the sequel yet, because I mean, outside of, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't want to buy it, so I don't know how else to see it outside of buying it, because I haven't seen it anywhere for me to like stream it.
There are ways.
But yeah, like
you do
that's
know
one of my guilty pleasures.
You can just go buy it, right?
I mean, I have other
Probably
things
for really cheap too.
I want to buy that instead of buying a film that I might not feel the same way that I feel about.
I got a copy of it at Disc Replay for cheap.
If it's the difference between buying like a chorizo or buying like that movie, I'm gonna buy the chorizo.
Chorizo.
I'm just being honest. Like, I haven't seen the movie yet, so I'm like, do I want to have this forever? No.
But you ain't gonna have the chorizo forever.
But I'm gonna enjoy the moment that I spend with that chorizo.
I'd rather have something forever than a moment. No matter what.
I will have memories forever with that chorizo and how it made me feel and how
a beer right now.
I don't know.
Can I say one thing? Can I just say one thing?
You can say more than one thing.
I just want to say RIP to Rabbit. It's dead. as of
Oh,
today.
it's dead? Really?
It's dead. Yep.
Pizza Rabbit.
No, Rabbit, the streaming service that we used to kind of use to like do watch parties and stuff like that. What they shuttered the service.
So yeah, somebody bought it, and then they ended up firing everybody and firing all the people that run it and stuff. So they just let it run until it stopped, and it stopped this month.
They bought it to get the tech.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yet another streamer bites the dust.
Yep.
Cast
Long
adopts the legacy of
live-
Rabbit.
Long live physical.
See, all we're doing is strengthening his standpoints, his stance on these things. Wow.
Can I say another? Is this a TV show though? Reno 911. It is.
Oh, a lot of people love that show.
Wow.
That is the best show ever.
I don't know if it's really popular or not, but I love it because I
Reno
love
911. Reno 911 was awesome, and also The Rock was in the movie.
Oh, what was?
Mhm.
Was he?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he
Like
had
the
he had
first
a
5 minutes,
he had he had a really
Like
quick
SWAT or something?
he had a really quick, basically speaking cameo in that movie.
Sure did.
That
And
was
then he went
hilarious.
boom.
Yep.
But he was like
That-
one of the SWAT. I don't know. I've seen the movie, but I mean the show.
He was a specialist, basically brought in to handle what was it, bomb disposal or something like that, and then like a grenade rolled into a tent, and he slowly walked after it. I'm like, no, really? And then he blew up. That was his whole part. It was unexpected, but it was awesome. So it's just one of those things.
I mean,
But
I guess. I mean,
again,
the movie. I don't remember
wait,
that part of the movie.
how much
but
does a chorizo cost?
I need you to stop that.
depends on where you are, I guess.
I need you to stop that.
Okay, because you know
I think you have to stop
you
that.
can get the sequel for cheap. Like that's $5.
I need you
That's
to
not much.
stop that.
I'm just saying.
That's awesome.
Chorizos or funnel cake or something that I
Well,
would have
here-
put in the movie.
Here's the reason I think you secretly like Man of the Iron Fist, because Quentin Tarantino presented the original.
Yeah, I saw the original in theater.
Did he feed it
I
up?
did too.
Netherlands. Me and my friends went to watch it in the Netherlands, and we
I know that movie again. I like that movie because of Jamie Chung. She's awesome. Lucy Liu was in it. She was awesome.
Liu was in it.
Like that movie is the RZA. I don't really like him as a talent in that regard. I like him as a musical talent. His acting, not so much. But again, it was his story. So I mean, like, what are you gonna do? But
Can be in your own movie.
yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But I enjoyed the film. The film was fun. The sequel, because again, yeah, Russell Crowe in the first one. Russell Crowe was awesome and ridiculous.
Russell Crowe did that as a cash grab.
Hey, that's the whole point of being an actor is making money. It's a job.
Sam Jackson says he wakes up every morning and wants to act, so that's why he takes most jobs that are given to him.
Christopher Walken used to be the same way.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken used to not turn down scripts. He would just do them.
Smoking Aces is another guilty pleasure too. That I have.
Smoking Aces
what
is
was that?
such a good. Yes, I
Smoking
love
Aces
that.
is not a guilty pleasure. Smoking Aces is a masterpiece.
Love that movie.
They had so many people in that movie. It was insane. Young Chris Pine.
Love that movie. And that
Chris Pine doing his
is
thing.
I think that's why a lot of people are weird about it because it had so many people in it.
That's true. But I will say, Chris Pine, every time I see Chris Pine, I think of his character in Smoking Aces. I do not think of Captain Kirk.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. But here's the other thing with that though, and that makes me wonder, like that the premise of that movie is such a good plot. It has such a good premise of just like, look, all these assassins are going after the same contract. That's what made me, when they brought out that Batman Arkham Origins game, and it basically had the same plot, like all the Joker hired all of these different villains to chase down Batman. I was like, that's like such a good movie plot. It just works. Like they should do that more often. Like a lot more often. Because it was fun.
Mhm.
And Alicia Keys was very pretty in that movie too. So that also makes that movie get extra points.
Yeah, you know
Just
what?
saying.
When I saw Alicia Keys was in that movie, it like it really it surprised me because she's not necessarily known for acting or anything like that, and I kind of thought she was gonna kind of break into it, but that was kind of like a one and done type.
Which is fine.
Yeah, which is fine. Anybody got Daredevil movie as a GP now?
Absolutely not. We have
the Daredevil director's cut wasn't bad, and I remember I got it and I liked it a lot, and I remember
about Catwoman because no, I've seen that and no, just no. No.
So you saying Daredevil and Catwoman is on the same level? No.
I'm saying Daredevil is below.
No, wow! Oh wow! No!
That statement.
Hell no! You crazy? No! The director's cut of Daredevil actually made that movie much better than.
Below.
No, much better.
Well, I mean, Daredevil did spawn Elektra, so that does make it lower.
Look,
absolutely.
You trying to tag team and pile on? Come on, man. What is that?
No, speaking.
First of all, I own all of these movies, so it doesn't really matter to me one way or the other.
Come on now.
I actually gave Daredevil away.
Wow! Somebody stole mine. I'm mad.
I don't
usually give away my movies. That one.
Tony Young is like the Daredevil is the Godfather compared to Catwoman, and I have to kind of agree with that one.
Hold up.
At least once a show, I'm just like, Tony Young, sir, you're dismissed and that is.
This is that moment right now. Fuck out of here! Hell no. Don't even put Godfather in the same sentence as Daredevil or Catwoman. Because that just lets me know that you're trash, Tony Young. Sorry.
Some people think the G.I. Joe movies are guilty pleasures, but I love them, says Hand of Omega. Sharita Jackson's like, Catwoman is better. Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. This is some kind of Ben Affleck hate. I bet you that's what's behind it.
Well, hold on. It might not be that. It might just be that they're not tied into the comic books and they don't care. They're just like, they liked it for whatever reason they liked it for.
Maybe. Okay.
Because for Catwoman, because I saw Catwoman in the theaters as well. And it was just like, it was one of those, this had absolutely nothing to do with the comic book. So that was my gripe with it as watching it. But looking at Daredevil, it's just like, okay, this is loosely based on the comics. I mean, it's it's got some ties in and whatnot, but neither movie was good. But so I'm trying to figure out why exactly a lot of these people are saying they like Catwoman. But what was it about Catwoman that they liked? Is my question.
I was entertained.
Okay.
Okay.
I love it.
All right, audience of Maximus.
Yeah, that was nice. So a lot of okay.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, Sharita said that Daredevil on Netflix is the winner. I would agree between those two because
yeah,
20 million times better than the actual movie and Elektra.
Fall of Marvel is like Daredevil is great value Marvel, where Catwoman is Enron DC. Damn.
What?
Because basically, wow. So the reference, you don't get the reference. Enron, the environmental destroyers of the world. Enron versus great value like Walmart cheap brand Marvel Comics. Yeah.
I think that was a swing and a miss.
Wow.
Because I'm from Houston and I know all about Enron, and I'm just like, wait, what? That okay? But yeah, go ahead.
All right. So Sarita says she was entertained by Catwoman as well. So
maybe it's a ladies thing. Maybe y'all just liked it because
dang. Now you're gonna be all sexist about it.
I'm not trying to. I'm just saying, dude.
Right. It's not. I mean, can Shiro? Yeah. Okay. Like, nah. But what I'm saying is, like, I know that as a Catwoman comic book fan and everything else, I know that the movie, and I can say over and over and over, movie not good, but entertained. Yes. I know it had nothing to do with the comic book. It didn't. It was like this unique story that they tried to do, and it was all of this and all of that, and it ended up not being what they wanted it to be. And I'm fine with that, but I'm still very entertained by it. Daredevil, just mad the whole movie. Just like, why am I watching this? I gotta see what happens, so I got to watch
just
it.
mad. Just mad. Just all the way mad.
Why you gotta be so angry? Why you gotta be so angry all the time?
I mean, not all the time. Just when watching that movie.
Okay.
R.I.P. Michael Clark Duncan.
I will say he was probably one of the better places in. I will say he did a good Fisk. I can say that.
I have to say one thing about that. I was in a threads on one of the pages that I frequent a couple days ago, and they literally had a picture of Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin from the Daredevil movie, and somebody was like, "Man, he would probably make a good Kingpin." I was so.
It's like, oh
So
boy,
taken
you look
back,
like you
like-
missed out on something.
Right. I'm just sitting there like, dude, he's got the Kingpin cane. It's a picture of him as Kingpin from the movie. And I'm just like, dude, how young are you? Like, how did it was just weird when I was like, God, it makes me feel old sometimes, but I'm not. Just interesting. Either that or just people just don't pay attention to anything. Maybe that's the problem.
That part.
That could be it. Yeah, that absolutely could be it. So,
Nicholas Autry, why'd you torture yourself like that? He saw Daredevil and Phone Booth on the same day.
Wait a minute, phone booth with Kim Basinger? Phone booth?
No, Colin Farrell phone booth.
Colin
That was a
Farrell.
shit one.
Yeah,
The
Colin Farrell-
94-minute movie, was it 94 minutes?
Yeah, it was something like that. And Colin Farrell and Keith Sutherland. It's like, dude, you can't keep if you have Keith Sutherland as your bad guy, having him on the phone is not going to make it a big surprise and shock when we see that it's Keith Sutherland is the bad guy. His voice is so distinctive.
Right.
It's like you gotta find somebody with a non-distinctive voice or something.
Wow, Sharita Jackson's like Batman Forever is still the greatest Batman movie ever. Wow.
Hey,
Wow.
Look, Batman Forever is a great movie if you
better than
love
Batman and
Adam
Robin.
West.
Yeah, it's better than Batman and Robin. No question.
No,
question.
Batman and Robin. I'm sorry. Batman and Robin. If you love Adam West Batman and Robin
was your movie without
was a
question.
great movie because
The
it
only
was
thing that we're
inspired
missing
by
was the
Adam West.
on-screen graphics of the Bam with Pop.
Yeah,
all that.
100%. Telling you,
That's
take that
all
same
they were
exact
missing.
same exact story. Pull out all those characters. I mean, the actors. Change the actors with the actors from the '60s, and nobody would even cared.
Look,
Exact same script.
I
Nobody
love.
would have cared.
I
That's
absolutely
what the point-
love.
That's what they were trying to do, right?
Yeah.
What was the point? That literally was the point. Is the
And I
guy was trying to
absolutely love-
recreate the '60s.
I absolutely
Batman.
love that Adam West Batman movie. That thing I would
love
watch
that Bat Shark.
every
Him
time
running
it's
with
on
that
TV.
figure.
Again,
Oh my God, I love
sometimes-
that movie.
Sometimes you can't
That's
get rid of a
good.
bomb.
Yes.
Another one with the future Captain America is Cellular.
Didn't watch it.
That is a.
Was that Jennifer Lopez? Or am I thinking of the Cell? Sorry.
Yes, you're
That's
thinking
the
of the
Cell.
Cell.
Yes, you're thinking of the cell. This is Chris Evans is like somebody calls his phone and he has to stay on the phone with them. Phone booth reminded me of this because he's like trying to save this girl or a person who calls him and blah blah blah. But
But Phone Booth, it was like the Phone Booth was so dumb to put Keith Sutherland as a villain. That's like casting Patrick Stewart to be the villain in that movie, and he's talking to him on the phone. Like, oh, I wonder who it is. Like, dude, they should have just got somebody to be the villain and not Keith Sutherland. I'm just sitting there like, okay, when are we gonna see
I
Keith
mean,
Sutherland?
that was back when they were trying to make Keith Sutherland a thing.
Keith Sutherland has been in so much stuff that he's becoming the next Kevin Bacon. There's gonna be 6
No.
degrees of Keith
Yeah,
Sutherland.
what was that movie that I like so
Kevin
much?
Bacon
Dark
like the white
City. That was
Yeah.
a good movie with him in it.
Dark City was awesome.
Dark City was pretty awesome.
What'd you say, Al?
And then The Matrix came out and just destroyed it.
Just
so.
completely destroyed it.
I said, is Kevin Bacon like the white Sam Jackson?
What?
I wouldn't say that, but some people would.
You could probably do 6 degrees of Sam Jackson by now for sure, though.
You might be able to do that. You are right about that.
Yeah, matter of fact, I don't think there's any way you can name a movie now that you can't tie Sam Jackson back to it somehow. I think he actually has hit that level. Chat, this is your assignment since you have to accept it. Name a movie that you can't get back to Sam Jackson in 6 movies. Now, obviously, you can't go back to like the 1930s or nothing stupid, but like you got to stay within, somewhat modern times. Mm-hmm. But yeah, see if you can find a movie that you cannot tie Sam Jackson back to in 6 moves. Yeah,
that's another one. What is it? 7 Savages, or is it just Savages? Or 7 Serial Killers? Was that it? I don't know.
7 serial killers?
Never mind.
What?
Never mind.
Hold on, 7 serial killers. Hold on, you talking about 7 psychopaths?
Yes, 7 psychopaths.
I wanted to see that. I didn't see that movie.
I have that movie. That movie is awesome.
I have to watch it one day.
Okay, now hold on. Is that the one you're naming that you saying you can't tie back to Sam Jackson?
No, I wasn't talking about that at all.
Okay, I'm just checking because 7
we got
psychopaths.
a few in the chat already. The Virgin Suicide, Monkey Bone.
The Virgin Suicides?
Yeah.
The Virgin Suicide. Okay, who's in that? Let me go to IMDb.
7 psychopaths.
The chick from the cheerleader movie. What's her name? Kirsten Dunst was in that movie.
Yes, she was.
Kirsten Dunst. Kirsten Dunst was in Interview with the Vampire. Interview with the Vampire had Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt was in Inglourious Bastards. Inglourious Bastards also had trying to think. Inglourious Bastards had a lot of people in it. Christoph Waltz.
And Tim Roth.
Yeah, Tim Roth was in Pulp Fiction. There you go. Boom. Doesn't take long.
Dang.
There are, again, Sam Jackson has hit Kevin Bacon status in that regard.
I think so who do you think hit that status first? Do you think Kevin Bacon was just more popular than Sam Jackson, so that's why they did that whole thing? Because I think Sam Jackson has been in more movies than Kevin Bacon.
You probably can do that with almost any actor. They just, who knows why they picked Kevin Bacon, because you can even link Bruce Lee to Kevin Bacon.
Well, you can, but I think that was the whole gist of it. It just first of all, it rolls off the tongue pretty easy. 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. Boom. You can just say it all nice and easy. 6 Degrees of Samuel L. Jackson. It takes too long to say.
You can just say Sam Jackson.
I understand that, but he is Samuel L. Jackson now. He's graduated from being just like Larry Fishburne used to be Larry. He's graduated to being Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne.
So I'm just saying.
When did that happen, actually? Because that's just like interesting to me. Like how
hold on. When he played Furious Styles, wasn't he Larry Fishburne?
Uh-huh.
I believe. And then he switched it to Lawrence. Sounds, more regal.
I'm Lawrence. I did that. Fishburne.
Dude, if I was an actor, I'd do the same thing. I'd be like,
Lawrence with a U.
Right. I'd come in as as Chris, and then the next be like, no, it's Christopher. Must be spelled out fully, because I want to take up more space on the screen when my name comes up.
T.
Right, there you go. Like when my credit comes up, I want to be filling up as much of the screen as possible.
So you spell out your whole name?
Yeah, you doggone right. You spell that whole bad. I'm putting my middle name in there and everything. They'd be like, dude, stop it. It's too much.
What is your middle name?
Unknown to the viewing audience. Actually, no, I have a very English sounding name. That's what's again, my mom.
If you pronounce it that way, it is.
Yep, my mom had a very, very, very intelligent. Well, first of all, a lot of Black parents do this. They name the kid something that sounds on paper like, just to make sure you got that resume pass.
Yes, you're right.
That's a thing.
It is a thing.
You're right.
My name is just very old sounding, and my middle and first name rhyme, and we're not going to talk.
Well, your shortened name.
Is it Bobina?
There you go.
Sure.
Yes. Would your middle name be Helene?
No, we're not gonna try to guess my name.
Yeah.
No,
we ain't putting no
all right.
Put no
Damn.
names out there, man.
Damn.
Boba.
All right.
The woman has to have her anonymity.
No, I guess. Hey man,
I
it's
remember
been 2
Gleam in the
hours.
Cube. I remember
You know?
Gleam in the Cube, Nicholas.
No man, Gleam in the Cube with
Christian Slater.
Christian Slater, yes.
And a lot of actual skateboarders of the time.
I don't know that
Speaking
one.
of guilty
Tony Hawk.
pleasure movies, with Christian Slater, his sister Helen Slater in The Legend of Billie Jean, dude. I
was
swear to
just
God,
thinking that. I was just
swear to
thinking that.
God, that's like one of my biggest guilty pleasures.
But is it a guilty pleasure movie though? It was pretty good.
For me, I guess it is, because a lot of people, even looking back on it, don't necessarily think of it as a good movie. I do. I always have.
I don't know.
Hold on. Tony Young, are you really trying to say Tom Cruise? And then that's your. You don't think I can find a link from Tom Cruise to Sam Jackson? Is that what you're saying? It really is easy. All you got to do is go back to Interview with the Vampire again.
Mm-hmm. Tom Cruise is with Brad Pitt.
Yep,
Follow
Brad
the
Pitt
chain.
and Glorious Beth. Yeah, it's
Follow the chain.
it's Sam. Yeah, matter of fact, we need to bring that out.
Yeah.
I don't care if it is already a game. That's going to be the Culture Junkies game. 6 degrees
cool.
of Sam Jackson.
All right, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys,
we're gonna email Sam and get the royalties.
yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. And can we make sure there's a motherfucker in there somewhere? You know, just from GP, because you know with Sam, it's got to be in there some way. Got to be in there somewhere. I'm just saying.
I mean, if we want to get it released by Parker Brothers, I don't think they're gonna let us do that.
I think it will be straight.
I'm
I think
just
it will be
saying.
straight. Anyway, guys, it is now 11 o'clock, a little bit after 11 o'clock, and we're gonna go ahead and get ready to get out of here. We hope that you have been enjoyed keeping company with us for the past couple of hours, talking about our guilty pleasures, talking about the burgeoning eSports scene, and talking about also the Fast and Furious movie Hobbs Shaw that is coming out this Friday. I hope you all are going to go see it. What time are we going to go see it on Friday, man?
I'm actually going to look that up. I was talking to Dido earlier about figuring out what time on Friday we were going to check it out.
Oh, absolutely. And if you actually haven't had enough of the Culture Junkies live stream, Yin, what is going on tomorrow?
Tomorrow is the League of Extraordinary Fangirls, where L, GZ, Nanette, and myself will be talking about some awesome streaming gems. So, tune in. 10 o'clock tomorrow.
10 o'clock tomorrow on YouTube and Facebook.
Yes.
All right. So make sure you check out for that. The show notification is actually available down below on the page if you want to find it. So you make sure you check out the show tomorrow night at 10 p.m. It is not a ladies only stream. I'm sure guys are invited to come and chat with you.
One and all, we welcome everybody.
Okay, awesome. I'm actually looking forward to the show tomorrow. I think it's gonna be really great. Starting a brand new era for the League of Extraordinary Fangirls. It's gonna be awesome. Any last comments before we bust out of here, fellas and ladies?
I did an awesome unboxing, so you guys should go watch it because it was awesome.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, check out that unboxing.
Yes, that unboxing. I mean, dude, that figure. It looked practically like it was molded from the movie itself. Like literally, they took a still of Thanos and just boom, just put it as a statue. It's pretty dope.
Because that's how things are supposed to be done.
That's right. That is right.
All right. Well, somebody put Sean William Scott in the thing, so I'm just gonna have to break it down for her real quick.
Do it.
And Sam Elliott. They said Sam Elliott too. I was going to tell you that.
Well, first of all, Sam Elliott was in blah. He was in Ang Lee's Incredible Hulk, and that included I forgot his name, but I'll get to that in a second. Sean William Scott was in The Rundown with Christopher Walken, who was also in a movie with I can't remember the movie exactly, but it was also in a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio was just in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, with Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt was obviously in Inglourious Basterds with Tim Roth, and this is go back to the exact same thing again. And what was the other one?
Sam Elliott.
Oh, Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott was probably in something with what's his name? Sam Elliott was actually in Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
And as soon as you get to Nicolas Cage, you're gonna get a whole bunch of links to Sam Jackson. I just don't know them right off the top of my head at the moment.
But I was going to tell you could have went a shorter route with Leonardo DiCaprio because they were in that movie with Jamie Foxx where he was a slave.
I know, in Django, I understand. But I like making it seem like it's going to be a miss, and then I can always hit Pulp Fiction again. So there you go.
I can do Sam Elliott is pretty easy actually because he was in The Hawk with Eric Bana. Eric Bana was in Troy with Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt was boom, 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 as we already said. So
that's very true. But I like burning people with Ghost Rider because most people don't even want to think about Ghost Rider.
That's true. That's also true.
A terrible movie, and I just wanted to kind of bring that up.
Well, Hulk was also a terrible. Hulk
Was it worse than that one that Josh Brolin was in? The scar on his face. What was it?
Jonah Hex.
Jonah Hex.
Oh wait, that's a guilty pleasure too. There's nothing wrong with that movie.
What?
On that note, good night, everybody. We'll see you all hopefully tomorrow night on the League of Extraordinary Fangirls. Good night, everybody.